Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport. Just over here at this rest area in Illinois. Got here last night. I got this insulation on this truck, 8-foot tarps, which sucks, but it's interesting because it's going from Cedar City, Utah, excuse me, to Normal, Illinois, which is an oxymoron, if you ask me, because there is absolutely nothing normal in Illinois. I can't stand Illinois, but land of Lincoln, right? So, anyways, I got ready this morning. They got like 25 trucks at this job site today, Saturday, that are getting unloaded, so I already knew that, but then I'm going home for the weekend. So, almost for the week. So I got some stuff I got to do. It's the thing in trucking, man. There's always something to fucking do, man. Always something to do. So when I'm on the road, when I get home, I'm working. I mean, it's like nonstop, but I chose to do this. So had a level 3 inspection while I was out for the Blitz. Passed. Very happy about that. So I had I know this is off topic, but if you drive semi, you can appreciate it. Within, I'd like to say 2 months, I had a level 3, level 2, and now just a level 1. Level 3 was in, I think it was Idaho. Level 1, or I'm sorry, the level 2 was at the port of entry in Wyoming on I-80. State trooper was sitting right there. I get off, which I don't even go into the port anymore, but I get off. Sometimes just roll right by the bitch. But for the most part, I'll stop in there in the parking lot. I'll get out, go to the bathroom or check my load or just get off. So, because you don't want to run a scale, right? Which I have many times. So anyway, I'm going into the port of entry. I see a trooper car right to the right in the port. I just said to myself, I'm like, he's gonna come over. I just had this feeling. Sure enough, I parked my truck in the parking lane, and who's behind me? Nice guy. He said, "Hey, how you doing?" He said, "I'm gonna officer, blah blah blah. I'm gonna go or trooper. What I don't think troopers say officer." Because I'm trooper so-and-so, such and such, and I'm going to do a level 2 on you. I'm like, that's okay. And I just had a level 1 like the week prior. And so, that's weird. Anyways, so I passed the level 3, the level 2, and then I'm in Oklahoma, and I had just watched a DOT video on Oklahoma, and because they're pretty strict in Oklahoma, they're like thick as thieves at that place, man. And there's a car over here coming up. I think guy's truck might be broke, not doing well. Anyways, I just watched the DOT video, and I was out for the Blitz, like I said, and I had just watched it. Like, it was either the night before or the morning of. Roll in, fucking tell me to go in and go to bay number 1 or 2, whatever it was. Anyways, we passed. Which I was super nervous, which I get nervous on that because, and a lot of these guys and gals, well, I don't know about a lot, but there's a number of guys and gals that don't, they think like getting it out of service is, just a year thing, but it's not. It's like 5 years. It stays on your DOT, and if you don't have passing inspections, you won't get good brokers, you won't get good loads. So I had a guy a few years ago when I was doing a video on a tarp. Whenever I see a tarp or whatever that's messed up, I'll do a quick video on it. The guy's like, he's like, "Oh, you can't talk shit. You got a crack in your windshield. You're gonna get out of." Dude, that's not out of service. and it's not even a warning. I mean, well, I guess they they could warn you on anything, right? But he's like, yeah, it's not. Dude, no, it's not. It's like if the thing is completely spider webbed, yeah, then it's an out of service. Anyways, I know that was a lengthy ass intro to this. So I've been debating whether I was gonna do a booty pounder story with the booty pounders, but I think I'm gonna do the. I had a couple people ask me like, when are you gonna do the time you had to go out to Barstow, California, recover a truck? So the truck I just got done fixing and painting, was damaged by a driver. This guy Christopher Kidder, fucking another big turd in the toilet. I have this toilet full of fucking huge turds, and it's despicable. So anyways, I was going to do a boot, but then I was like, I'm going to do the Christopher Kidder one. So anyways, I'm up in Colorado. This is years ago. I'm in the truck I just painted. My truck, the one I'm in, my primary truck, was getting an overhaul, an out of frame overhaul in California. So I took out the other truck. And I delivering way up in the mountains in Colorado. And I get to the delivery, and there's another guy. There's this Christopher Kidder, which I didn't know that was his name. And so I'm sitting there waiting. He's ahead of me. We're waiting to get, because it's at some sort of mine up in Colorado. So we're waiting to be escorted in by the safety crew. And he gets out of the truck, small guy, little guy, older. People look at me and like, yeah, he's older. So he's my age, I guess. Anyways, so he comes. So I see he's looking at the trailer. He's got a Volvo truck. No, he's not a foreigner. And guys always do the foreign thing, like if you drive a Volvo, you're a foreigner. That's not true. So, which actually Volvo makes a pretty comfortable riding truck, if you ask me. I have driven a Volvo automatic. Anyways, where was I? Oh, so he's looking. He had a 53-foot flatbed, nice equipment. And he comes up, he goes, hey, I got a question for you. So I get out of the truck, we go look at his trailer, and he's got a leaky air hose by his rear bag. And he's like, hey, do you think it would be all right? Can I do something about that? Or should I call? I said, no, you don't want to call a service company way up here in the mountains, man. They'll juice the shit. Because I'm thinking it's his equipment. And I'm like, I'll charge you a shitload, to come out here. He goes, no, he said, it's not my equipment. I'm like, oh yeah, but still, you want to look out for the owners. I mean, you really do. I did many a times when I drove for the Russian, a lot. I could tell you another story, another truth. So anyways, I tell my son, just fold the airline that was going to the airbag. It wasn't going to the brake. It was going to I'm pretty sure it was the airbag. And he said that the airbag was leaking. It was a long time ago, so I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure the airbag was leaking. So I told him, I said, just fold the airline going into the airbag, and then that's just going to stop the air from pissing out. He's like, oh, yeah, okay. He said, man, I don't really give a fuck about these guys anyways, man. I'm looking for another job. So, like I said, well, actually, I think he was a little older than me. He said he had been in the industry for a while. And like I said, this was right around the whole COVID thing. The worst pandemic in the world, right? So I was like, oh, really? I said, I'm going to be getting into my truck, and this truck's going to be available with the same flatbed. He's like, how much do you pay all miles? I said, 60 cents. He goes, oh man. He said, do you do a lot of partials? I'm like, no, not really. I mean, it's up to the driver. If we have room on the deck, then he's like, yeah, these fuckers, man. He said, I sat in Hollywood I guess not guess, but his mom lives in California, I found out. He said he was in Hollywood for like 5 or 6 days. He had a partial on the trailer and they were trying to book him another partial. So they made him wait like 4 or 5 days and without pay. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why? How is that even possible? I'd have been like, dude, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? So, but he said that he didn't mind because his mom came and picked him up and he spent time with her. But he's like, I'm done with this shit, man. They just keep wanting to book partial after partial after partial, put all this money in their pocket, but they don't want to pay me detention. So I gave him a card. Calls me, I don't know, a week or two later. And another one, I said, don't quit your job until I tell you that the truck is ready. I had to do something to it or whatever. So anyway, so he quits his job, just like fucking Bill Damakasi, just like Tracy Laverne Leach. I mean, I don't understand these guys. If somebody told me like, Kurt, don't quit your job until you hear from me, I'm not going to quit my job. So he calls and goes, yeah, I quit my job, blah, blah. He said, so I'm cleaning out the truck. And I was like, dude, the truck's not ready yet, man. I said, we were painting the fairings. That's what we were doing. And so he's like, I don't have money to rent a car. I already told these guys I'm done. And so I'm like, fuck. So I call my wife. I'm like, hey, baby, hi, baby girl, I love you. So I call my wife. I'm like, hey, we got to get this guy, a rental car. She's like, all right. So he tells me he needs something bigger than a car. And I'm like, what? I mean, I'm like, what do you got, a fucking full-size fridge and stove in the truck? Why do you need, he said, I need a van. I'm like, all right. And he was coming from Ohio. So we book him a van. And he packs up the van and he tells me he's en route. He's going to be to the shop in Burlington, like, I don't know, I think it was late, like 11 p.m. or it was late. It was late. And so sure enough, my wife and my wife and I go out there and to the shop to meet him. And sure enough, he's got the van and it's fucking packed. Like a hoarder almost. I'm like, fuck, man. Fuck. So, anyways, we pull his van into the shop. We empty it out. And, oh, no, that's what it was. We were doing the fairings on the truck, but Max, my guy that I told it. So my old mechanic, Max, has a diesel service, roadside service, and he called. I know I digress on this, but Max calls me. So my wife and I got married September 1st of 2018, best day of my life, and so Max calls me. We were getting married on Labor Day. Is that it? Yeah, Labor Day, and Labor Day weekend actually. And Max calls me like a Tuesday night. He's like, hey, Kurt, man. He said, because we had that Pro Tote unit, which we sold now. A guy gave us an offer we couldn't refuse. So Max says, hey, man, he said, I bought this truck, like a service truck with a crane and stuff. Not like a big semi, but like a service truck. And I know why these guys have those big ass numbers on the side of their trucks. I've been noticing that more and more and more. These big ass numbers on the side of the trucks. And it's because these motherfuckers out here drive so fast, like somebody's fucking chasing them. And they're NASCAR numbers. Because they're fucking out here and they're just running like fucking NASCAR drivers. Anyways, once again, I digress. Sorry. So he says, yeah, I bought this truck and it's been down there for a little while. Now they're telling me that they're gonna start charging me like $100 a day if I don't get it out. I'm like, Max, come on, dude. I'm like, I'm getting married this weekend. Like literally, because he's like, dude, I need a solid man. He said, I'll go with you. I swear nothing will happen on the trip, which you don't know for a fact, right? I should have my chain out. Fucking like cool. So you don't know for a fact. So I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, guess what? I know we're getting married this weekend, but she's like, you're really gonna do that? Now my ears ringing. Somebody's talking about me. She said, you're really gonna do that? I'm like, she goes, don't you fuck up this wedding. I'm like, I won't. So we ended up leaving a Tuesday night or Wednesday night. And so we jump in the truck, we put the tow unit on, get in the truck, and it's down in Tennessee. It's like Chattanooga, I think it was. Not crazy far, but a couple days before you getting married, with my fucking luck, that motherfucker is anyways, so everything goes well. Head down there, hook up the truck. Now we weren't we were ELD then. No, we weren't ELD then. Anyways, I was running paper, and so we hook up the truck, head back, and we had been up like for a couple days now. Drove all the way down there, then it took a while to get into the yard, and then we were tired. So anyways, we're rolling back, and it's like 3 a.m, and we're in Illinois, and I'm like, I tell Max, he goes, dude, they're not gonna, like, you're not gonna get in trouble, man. We're like, we haven't even stopped except to eat and fuel up. So I said, I'm not worried about it. Illinois is the last state we're going to be going through. Wisconsin's going to be closed, and Illinois should be closed like 3 a.m. Nope. Motherfuckers are open at like 3 a.m. And then I'm thinking, as I'm like, oh, they probably just have the open sign on. No, we actually pulled onto the scale. Stop. Now I got beacon lights on my fucking truck, and because we're towing his service truck with the Pro Tote, and there's like 4 or 5 troopers Illinois State Troopers in the scale house, and puppy dogs, and so they're all like talking, and like it was like it was all choreographed or all timed perfectly. As soon as we stop on the scale, all their heads go from down to up, and I'm looking inside the scale. Max, he's just staring straight. He doesn't even want to make eye contact, and I'm just looking at them, and they're looking at me. It's like a stare off, like we're having like a dance off, but a stare off. And I go like this, and they're all just looking, and again, like clockwork, or like it was all timed and planned, they all put their thumb up like, you're good. So we left. Anyways, why did I get into that whole thing? I don't know why I just told you that whole fucking story, but so anyways, I'll probably remember it. Oh, that's why, because Max was going to pay me, but we have this other Freightliner that we bought from Roanoke, Virginia, with a blown motor. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll go down and risk not marrying my wife on that day, and then you put a motor in that truck. I'll obviously pay for all the parts, but your labor is, we'll just do a barter. He's like, fair enough. So we needed a clutch in that Kenworth. So I called Max and said, hey, listen, instead of doing the motor, I'll pay for all the clutch parts and you put the clutch in for free. He goes, all right, fair. So that's why I wanted to have the truck with the clutch, and then we were doing the rear cab fairings because they were cracked. Anyways, so Christopher Kidder and I were taken care of. I'm paying him by the hour. And the dude would get Skype calls from his daughter that lived in Colorado, I guess. And she would constantly call him. But it had to be on Skype, on the video. And this dude he would just stop whatever he was doing, and he would just, and she would call, like, I'm not even over exaggerating, she'd call 8 to 10 times while we're at the shop working, and he would stop what he's doing. And one thing I did appreciate about Christopher Kidder, and it's not a made up name, it's real. He when he would see his granddaughter, his one and only grandchild, he would light up. You could see he was so happy, so proud. You could just tell, like, she really meant a lot to him. I really appreciated that about the guy. That was the only thing I appreciated. So, finish the fairings, get the truck back from Max, and Christopher has his whole, what's up, my guy Chris out in Michigan, man, I've reached out to you a while back, my boy Dave, there's so many other people out there, Ryan, Steve, I mean, everybody, Jason Gilbert-Passer, I'm very blessed with the amount of love and friends and brothers that I have, so, family. Anyways, I failed to mention this, when he's when we're pulling all the stuff out of the van, and I'm thinking, this dude's a fucking hoarder. Now, I know I got shit up there, but the thing I carry up there is in that black tote is that's where I keep my dirty clothes, and then the wheel thing, that's a jogging stroller. No, my fat ass don't jog, but it's in case my truck breaks down, if the apocalypse comes, I got a way to put and then right next to the buggy is my bug out bag. So, and then right above here, I have all my food and everything. So, anyways, I'm telling my wife, I'm like, so we leave the shop, and he's staying at a motel. We booked him a motel down the street, and he pulls out. He doesn't have his lights on. It's dark as shit. It's like fucking late now. It's like 1 a.m. or whatever. We had already booked him the room, and he like stops right in front of us. I tell my wife, I'm like, what the fuck's this guy doing? She goes, you sure you want him to drive a truck? So we're in it to win it now. We're in fucking neck deep on this motherfucker. So, anyways, I'm like, hey, are you all right? Oh, man, I'm just tired. I'm like, whoa, all right. So we follow him to the motel next day, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward, we're loading up his truck. I didn't realize all the shit that he had. Even though I saw it in the van with my own eyes, it didn't really make sense to me. And that Kenworth is a mid-roof, but it's a double bunk. Like, mine is a double bunk, but it's a full condo, tall. So, we're putting stuff in, and the truck has a refrigerator and a microwave in that truck. And I had it wired for a power inverter, but I took it out for another truck, and so the wires were there, but Christopher says, I got a power inverter. So we hook up his power inverter in it, and that's relevant to the story, or to the truth. And so we're putting stuff, and all of a sudden I see he pulls out a generator, a full-size fucking generator, like a 5200 watt fucking generator, or 5200 amps. I'm not a fucking electrician. But it's a big ass fucking generator. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, oh yeah, I did see that. But I thought maybe he was going to put it on the catwalk or something. You know, some guys run like an air conditioner or whatever. And I'm like, but it's got a power inverter. So I'm like, Chris, what are you doing with the generator? Oh man, if, you know, I've always been the guy, man, that truck breaks down, you know, I'll work on it right there. You lied to me. You lied to me. Because you were about to call fucking roadside service for a fucking leaky airbag. And you're going to fucking work on a truck and you won't even... He goes, oh yeah, man, I didn't tell him that, obviously. But I'm like, dude, you're a fucking liar. So I should have pulled the plug right there. I should have just fucking pulled the plug on him and fucking stopped power going to his fucking brain. Like, fucking dude, just lock up, pull a fucking power cord on his ass. But I didn't. So he puts the generator in the truck, not on the catwalk, on the top bunk in that truck all the way to the corner where my black tote is. It was in that corner, and he had all these tools and everything. Like legit tools, like a fucking impact. He had a compressor. He had a small, like a double cell compressor. He had I mean, I'm like, holy fuck, man. What? As long as you run the miles, man, I don't give a fuck. Trucks, you know, it's old. I don't give a fuck. So we got the truck all packed up. We're loading chains and binders into the headache rack. He had all, you know, he had helped me with all the gear, putting it in there, tarps, all that shit. So get him loaded up, and I had a load for him going out of Fox Lake, Wisconsin, a load of trailers, which is light. They actually go up top. They throw down the strap to you. All you have to do is fucking roll it up, tighten it up, and you're gone. And it was a 3 delivery in California. And I've been out there myself plenty of times with these trailers. It's an easy load. They're light, you know, it's just an easy load, and they pay well. So I get them that load out of Fox Lake, and they'll be here pretty soon. So I know my stories are long. So I go to my pickup and I grab a tablet, a small tablet, and I go to bring it to him, and I'm like, because that's what we run. We run tablets for our ELD. So I give him the tablet, and I'm sorry, I got to back up, and I'm sorry. So after we're done loading everything in the headache rack, that hood, before I fixed it and before I fucking did all the body work, and the hood, there's these pins, and I've showed it on many videos. There's a pin on the hood that's mounted on the hood on both sides, and then there's a receiver sleeve on the firewall. And the whole concept is when you close the hood, the pins left and right actually go into the receiver, and that's what secures the hood, and then you lock it down with the rubber strap. But ever since we had that truck till I fixed it, like for the third time, I explained to him, hey, when you close the hood, the pin on the driver's side goes in good, perfect, latch that side, then walk around to the passenger side, lift it, you know, just get your hand underneath there and just lift it up, and the pin will slide into the receiver. So that's the only thing I can do right now. That's one of the things I wanted to fix, along with the clutch and the fairings or whatever. He's like, whoa, man. I'm not comfortable with that, man. That's some bullshit. I'm like, dude, it literally, like, you don't have to. I'm like, what the fuck? But you work on trucks? You got this fucking mechanic shop in our fucking truck? I'm like, oh my God, this is not gonna go well. So I tell him, dude, you're just gonna have to live with it for, until we get you back to the shop. Man, all right, I guess, blah, blah. And this dude starts, like, giving me attitude. And I'm thinking to myself, like, all right. So now I go to the truck, I'm a pickup, and I grab a tablet, and I bring it over to him, and he's in the truck's running. He wanted the clutch to be adjusted, so Max was doing that. So I hand Christopher Kidder the tablet, and because the truck had an ELD. And this dude fucking lost it. Absolutely fucking lost it. He came unhinged, and that fucking door was flying off. He starts throwing shit around. He's like, that's exactly why I left those other guys, man. They just, fucking tracking me, doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa, dude. Calm the fuck down. He's like, no, man, I'm not. And he just starts fucking going off again, throwing shit on the inside of the truck. And this is relevant to the rest of the truth. He starts fucking talking. I'm like, dude, we're going to clean your shit out. And you can get yourself back home. And he's like, what? I'm like, you can just fucking, you can just leave your shit. I'll rent you another fucking van and you can get your shit out of the truck. I'll just go get the load myself. He's like, oh man. I said, so he calmed down, and I tell him, I'm like, all right, I'm a reasonable guy. You can run, because he said he'd rather run his ELD. Now, we're paying for the fucking tablet, and it's completely open, so you can watch Netflix on it. You can do whatever you want, and it's not costing you a penny. So I'm reasonable, and I say, hey, listen, all right. You can run the ELD off your phone. You don't have to take the tablet, and I'm not fucking tracking you. So I can do that on my computer in the office and fucking watch where you are on your ELD. Oh, okay. So he calms down, and I tell him, like, all right, so, but here's the deal. If you have one violation on your ELD, it's going to register into our admin page or admin login, whatever. And if you have one violation, then you will go to the ELD. I should have had him take the ELD, but the whole tracking thing is why he fucking came unhinged. So he puts out his hand, we shake. I was like, he goes, yeah. He said, I'm a man of my word. All right. So he's another one of these fucking, these truckers that give you their fucking resume when they, like I said in my last video, like, ask a trucker. If you don't know, ask a trucker, because they fucking know everything. And, but he's one of the, I can run the rubber off that truck, blah, 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 I've been doing it for fucking 85 fucking years. And I'm like, all right, whatever, man. You don't have to give me your resume. I mean, I got a couple million miles underneath my belt. So maybe not a couple, but close to a couple million. Anyways, so he goes and he picks up the load. And so now this is a Thursday, he picks up the load. So I don't call him. I explain the whole scanning thing with the BOL. He's like, oh yeah, the fucking Serbians I drove for, they did the same thing. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, at least that's good news. And, so Friday comes, it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. Now he's been gone, not quite 24 hours. And he made it from Fox Lake, Wisconsin to Omaha, Nebraska, and that was it. I'm like, oh. So I notice he's got 15 fucking violations on his fucking ELD. 15. And I'm like, motherfucker. So I text him, hey, listen, everything all right? Yeah. I see you're having some problems with the ELD. Yeah, I know, blah, blah. I'm like, relax. I said, hey, you only made it to Omaha. And actually, I want to say it might have been actually Saturday at 11. Yeah. So he picked up Thursday night or Thursday late afternoon, like 3-something-ish. And I remember for a fact, I didn't bother him because I didn't want him to fucking, come unglued. So that's what it was. So Friday, I don't contact him. I don't even check the ELD because I'm like, I didn't want to go down that path. So this motherfucker. So I checked the admin site at 11 o'clock on Saturday. That's what it was. Because I was thinking, I'm like, nah, I mean, going overnight, going from Fox Lake to Omaha, that's not bad. But I remember specifically, I was like, this motherfucker only went from Fox Lake, Wisconsin. I don't even know what the distance is on that. Hold on one second. What's the distance from Fox Lake, Wisconsin to Omaha, Nebraska? 474 miles. All right. So he went 474 miles from Thursday late afternoon, and he didn't have any. I mean, he had the drive time from the Max's shop from our shop, because we had to go back up to the shop. From our shop to Fox Lake. So he didn't have any. He had just started his fresh 70. So I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, and he had the 15 fucking violations on his ELD. So I text him, hey, listen, is it okay to call? He's like, yeah, everything's good, blah, blah, blah. So I call him like, hey, listen, it's Saturday. Now, his first delivery was on Monday at a Home Depot. And I had already called maybe, and then so he had 3 deliveries. There's one like Midway, California, and then the other 2 were Southern California. And it was Southern California. So, and then I had another one. I had already booked a load with these pods, those shipping container things that they, like the U-Haul or whatever. I had 3 pods that were going, one pickup in San Diego, and then 2 more pods in Vegas, and they were all 3 delivering in Seattle. And he's getting 60 cents all miles, empty or loaded. I mean, that's not bad. So anyways, I'm like, dude, I don't know if you're going to make the Monday appointment. Everything okay? Yeah. I said, I see you're having problems with the ELD. He's like, yeah. Don't rub it in. But I said, no, I'm not rubbing it in. I'm just saying I should have sent you with the tablet. I don't want to be tracked. But I'm like, dude, I know where you are right now with the ELD. So I don't know what. Anyways, so I told him, I said, dude, if you're not feeling well, because he wanted to get to Colorado to see his granddaughter and his daughter. Anyways, I'm like, all right, well, I'll work you and eventually you'll get back to Colorado. He said, okay. So I told him, I'm like, dude, if you want, you can bring the truck back if you're not feeling well or you're not comfortable, whatever the case is, and I can take the load. I'll just call the broker, cancel the other load, and no, I'll make it. I'll make the 1 o'clock on Monday, whatever. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, fuck, man. So anyway, so he takes off. He does make the 1 o'clock on Monday in California, because he obviously went to papers because he couldn't get the ELD to work with his phone. And the reason why I was going to give it wasn't to track, it's just so you can leave the tablet in the truck, because most of these, or I don't know about most, but a lot of these truckers, you'll see them with their headset on, in the truck stop. they're not talking to anybody, but they can't miss that fucking call because they're that important. They got to have that fucking headset on nonstop. So instead of you taking your phone with you out of the truck and the ELD not staying connected with the tablet, it's always connected, so you don't have any disconnection problems. Makes sense to the average person. So he does make it, and then he makes the other 2 deliveries, and he's pretty. You can tell in his text he's pretty pissed off, like, motherfucker. But well, that was the deal, right? So then he sends me the BOL. Everything's cool. We submit it to the factor company, and now he just has to get down to San Diego, which was only like a couple, like maybe 2 hours from his last delivery for the trailers. And so he makes San Diego. Oh, no. He, on his way from the last delivery to San Diego, he tells me that he caught a rock, and we had just put a brand new windshield in this truck. That's one thing that I really have been cursed with, is fucking windshield cracks. Like the one that's cracked right now in my truck, we just had that put in. If you go back in my videos, you'll see a fucking bird came and fucking flew right in front of my truck at night. I hit that motherfucker, spiderwebbed the whole damn windshield. So this windshield's only been in a few months. So anyways, he says that he caught a rock on the freeway and his windshield spiderwebbed. And I'm like, what? So he sends me a picture. It's like the size of a fucking basketball. I'm like, dude, what did they fucking kick out a brick at you, or a fucking, a fucking softball-sized boulder? No, man, I said, were you following? And the truck has a visor on it, right? And I told him, I said, were you following somebody too? No, man, it just kicked up. I'm like, all right. So I called my guy over in California. I'm like, hey, Ricardo, can you go ahead and call this guy, set up a meeting place, and then I'll pay you with a card over the phone. He's like, yeah, absolutely. So Christopher meets Ricardo. They put he puts the windshield in. Chris leaves, and I'm on the phone with Ricardo to give him payment. He's like, hey, man, he said, I know this is none of my business, but that dude is weird, man. He said he's pretty fucking angry about everything, it seems. I'm like, yeah, I know. So anyways, he goes, but that's not what I want to tell you. He says that when I replaced the windshield, it didn't go from the outside in, it went from the inside out. He said, like, the guy punched it, or he threw something at it. I'm like, this motherfucker, man. So then I flash back to when I gave him the ELD, he's throwing shit around the truck. I'm like, this motherfucker. So I'm not happy. So he goes to San Diego, picks up the pod, and he was late for his appointment to pick up the pod, the first pod. And I'm like, fuck, man, this is not going to go well. So I tell him, like, dude, you got to make Vegas for, by tomorrow morning at 11. And I forget what day it was. So I think he delivered Monday, so Tuesday. So Wednesday, I believe he picked up in San Diego. And then he had a Vegas appointment at 11 o'clock to pick up the other 2 pods. And then his delivery was in Seattle on Monday. So that's not fucking impossible to make, especially for somebody who could run the rubber off your truck. Fucking whatever. Anyways, he says, I'm just not feeling well. But I'm like, dude, I don't want to burn a bridge with a broker, man. He's like, all right, blah, blah. So I'm like, just, get as long. And Vegas, at this point, he's like Victorville. No, not Victorville. He's further south than that, like maybe LA-ish. And plenty of time to get to Vegas, and by 11 o'clock the next day. And it was in the afternoon after my guy put the windshield in. And then he went to San Diego, picked up, and then he was coming out. So I'm like, dude, I said, just make sure you get there. So and this was, like I said, a few years back. The pandemic hadn't happened yet. And, the pandemic did happen, because prior to that whole entire situation with Kidder, my guys and a bunch of us guys went out to Vegas for March Madness. And when we were there, that's when the whole thing started coming out, right? The fucking... And it seemed like it was very serious, so people were like fucking tripping, man, and panicking. And we weren't even sure if we could get on our return flight back to Wisconsin or to O'Hare, whichever one we went to. And so we were about to rent a fucking big-ass RV and just drive back, but we were able to make the flight. The next day after we got home is when they actually separated Vegas, like the blackjack tables, is when they came out with the first social distancing. And then a few days later, they were talking about closing down the casinos. So that this is the whole thing. So anyways, so I tell him, I'm like, Chris, something's not right, man. I said, you know what? I said, you should probably just pick up Vegas, head to Seattle, take a little time off, and then just drive back, and I'll pay you, and you can just do what you got to do. He's like, no, blah, blah, blah. And this is also important. So on his way from Omaha to California, or from Fox Lake to California, he was telling me that there was a major oil leak in the motor. I'm like, everything was just gone over. So he's putting oil in this motherfucker like crazy, I guess. I'm like, what the fuck? So anyways, he tells me, I tell myself, well, get it into the shop. It's got to be like a line or something, or maybe the oil filter's loose or whatever, because we just did a PM on the truck. And he's like, no, I ain't got time for that, blah, blah, I'll just keep putting oil in. I'm like, all right, dude, this fixer, that's why you got all the fucking tools in your truck. And so I gotta get going here pretty soon. So he and I apologize for the lengthy video, but so I tell him, like, he goes, man, I don't know, man, this fucking thing is leaking oil, and the windshield, and my ELD's not working, and all this shit was on him. So I tell him, like, dude, go ahead, pick up the pods in Vegas, park the truck at the TA or wherever over in Vegas, and then I'll fly out, and if I can get a flight, because that's when the whole pandemic thing was going on. And I said, I'll just pay you, and then you can get over to Colorado. He's like, no, I'm shutting. I'm taking it over to Barstow when I get up there. I'm like, you didn't even fucking make Barstow? I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, it's been like 8 or 9 hours after he picked up, and I'm like, you haven't even made. I said, where are you? And he was like an hour and a half from fucking Barstow, 2 hours. I'm like, so you didn't even make fucking Barstow, California? No, man, blah, blah. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. Now I'm fucking getting angry. I said, park the motherfucker in Barstow. I will see if I can get a flight out of O'Hare. So I call my wife. She's at work. My wife's a nurse, so I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? I'm packing my bags. Can you book me a flight out of O'Hare? And I said, I'll need a ride. So she says, absolutely. So she books the flight. She comes. She picks me up. And the ticket was like $35 one way, because nobody was flying. There was like 15 people on this fucking plane. And I'm like, damn, man, this is serious, right? So the flight one way was from O'Hare to Vegas, and then I had a car rental from Vegas to Barstow, and then I could return the rental car to Victorville, so which is south of Barstow. So get off the plane, and this dude's already calling me. I told him, I said, just get all your shit out of the truck, and because his mom lived in California, and they said, blah blah. So as we're getting off the plane, he calls me. He goes, hey, are you almost here? I'm like, dude, we just landed. And I said, now you're fucking in a hurry? I said, dude, you're going to have to wait for me, Chris. I said, I can only go as fast as this shit carries me. Oh, I was just checking in. I'm like, this motherfucker. So, anyways, so I'm walking through Vegas Airport, and it's a ghost town. I've never seen Vegas Airport like that before. It was kind of scary, I'm not going to lie. So I get in the car. Now, anytime if you recover a truck, anytime, make sure you bring if you're incorporated or LLC, make sure you bring that paperwork from the IRS with your company name on it. Bring the title and bring a spare key. I had already had all this because it's kind of common sense. So I'm pretty heated leaving. So I called my wife to calm down. She goes, maybe you should call the Barstow Police Department. She said, if I know my husband and it would be wise. And I agreed. And I said, yes. So I called Barstow, tell them the situation, and they asked, do you have proof of ownership? So I had that. So drive into Barstow Police Department and go inside, tell them who I am. They're like, oh yeah, okay. So they have two officers with two cars. They're like, hey, where's the truck? I tell them TA in Barstow. They're like, all right, just follow us. And he said, stay right behind us. He said, we're going to be going fast. So they fucking went from the Barstow Police Department. They jumped on, I think it was I-5, and they were fucking hauling ass. And not like it was I don't know if they were just showing off or whatever, but I'm staying right with them. I'm like, damn, this, and they don't have lights on, but they're cruising pretty good. Get into Barstow, and I stay way back. I point out the truck, because I had already drove through Barstow before I went to the police department to see exactly where the truck was. And then I told them, I said, here's where the truck is. I already went and looked, and I said, he's out of there. So they're like, yeah, we don't know for sure. So I stayed back in the rental car, and then both cop cars pulled up in front of the truck. They had the key, and so they start pounding on the door. They're like, police department, blah, blah. One's on one side, one's on the police department. Open up if you're in there. No response. So they pop the key, open the door, and they literally go in this motherfucker with guns. And I'm like, oh, shit. So everything's cleared. I told him he wasn't in there. So I thanked them, blah, blah, blah. And I start walking around the truck. There is oil all over the truck. The hood is like fucking 8 to 10 inches away from the firewall, and it's bungee strapped. I got a fucking loose, because the T2000 has a round headlight. The one is about to fall out on the passenger side. The other one is literally duct taped over the lens to hold it in. I'm like, what the fuck did this dude do? So I go inside, and I'm just fucking livid. This dude calls me. Hey, I was just wondering if I can come get... So now I'm thinking, okay, for the windshield, which was like almost $400, the flight, my time, the rental car, which the rental car was like $15. It was crazy, because none of these places were renting or flying people because of the pandemic thing. So, I was like, and I don't even know what the fuck you did to this hood. Oh, the wind caught it. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking liar, man. I said, Chris, don't even come to me right now. If I see you, I'm going to put my fucking hands on you. I will fucking literally, like, oh, I'm going to kill you. Like, oh, you're going to, no, I'm literally going to stop your fucking heart. Like that's how mad I was. And he's like, so what? You're not going to pay me anything? I'm like, you're actually going to get a bill from me, motherfucker. I don't even know how much this is going to fucking cost. Anyways, I'm panicked, going to the TA. They come out, they look at it like, dude, we don't even know what to do with that. So that's how I met my guy, Jose, in Barstow from Jay's Truck and Trailer Repair. And it's been, so it's one of those things where, so I bring the truck in, I call them that morning because they opened at like 8 or 9. And I explain the situation. They weren't the best on speaking English or whatever. And so I bring the truck in. They were on that truck. I kid you not. From the time I came in, I parked it in the bay. They didn't get done working on it till 11 o'clock that night. And it still was not right. So I forget what the bill was or what. They didn't charge me too much. And then the oil leak, it was a 90-degree rubber elbow that went into the head or to the valve cover in the truck. So it went from like a pipe into so it was like an oil return is what I guess. So they're like, yeah, it was just a loose hose clamp. And I'm like, wow. So anyways, I just had him put a new one on, whatever, just in case. And yeah. So I forget what the whole trip was, what it cost me. But it was just funny, his response. You're not going to pay me anything? I'm like, dude, you're going to get a fucking bill from Time Machine Transport, motherfucker. Anyways, so that is finally, after almost an hour of explanation, that is the Christopher Kidder story. Oh, and so on the good side of it, I met my guy Jose. I learned how to recover a truck. I got to see firsthand how desolate Vegas airport was in the flight and the rental car situation. When we thought it was a serious thing. And then I called the broker and on the pods, and I explained the situation. I showed them, my flight, the rental car, the police report, all this stuff, so that, I'm a very transparent person. So I told them, hey, listen, this is, and they were totally cool about it, man. They were like, it's all right, man. He says, as long as we have your word that you'll be in Vegas Monday morning to pick up those other 2 pods, and then you're still, the pods were delivering at a Navy base up in Seattle. Or not, it was for sailors at the Navy base. I didn't actually drop off the pods there. I dropped them off to another pods thing in Seattle, if that makes sense. So anyways, the brokers were fucking cool about it. I actually sent, Jose's guys were able to get it lined up the hood, but it still wasn't, I didn't even want to open it because of fear that I wouldn't be able to close it again because he fucked it up so bad. So I sent Christopher Kidder, and I still have his number on my phone. I'll send him an occasional text. What's up, loser? Which I know is bad. I should show mercy and grace. Thinking about it now, I won't text him anymore. It's been a while since I've texted him. Probably, 2 years maybe. 2 months, 2 days. No, I don't text him that often. But anyways, that is the truth about Christopher Kidder. So I think my next truth story time, which one of my subscribers called, I love story time. I think I'll do the booty pounders on the next one. So anyways, I don't think I have any more driver or trainee stories. Anyways, I gotta get this truck started up, thump the tires, and I'm like an hour away from my delivery. So anyways, have a great Memorial Day. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao.